We share a planet with millions of plant and animal species, and we rely on them for our survival. But how can we protect them better? How can we learn from our mistakes and make our communities stronger? That's what we're looking at on EcoAfrica today. Hello, my name is Malamba Mukonde in Lusaka, Zambia.
And the very best greetings from me too. I am Chris Alems in Lagos, Nigeria. It's great to have you with us. Coming up on this show, the people working to clean up Mali's fashion industry, how Burundians are called on to improve their environment together, and the wild plants that could bring food security to Niger. But now to Kenya and a vulnerable species of animal, the colobus monkey, which was once hunted for its beautiful black and white fur. This tree-topping, loving monkey inhabits coastal forests in the country's south, and nowadays it's more under threat from the spread of our human population itself.
They need to work fast. An injured Sykes monkey has been brought to the Colobus Conservation Clinic in Diani Beach. A team of veterinarians and volunteers treats his severe burns just in time.
Today morning we woke up and we got a distress call, an electrocuted Sykes monkey from one of the hotels. So we went there for a rescue mission.
Diani Beach on Kenya's south coast is known for its stunning white sands, but the coastal forests are also home to 6 species of primates, including the Angolan colobus, a species classed as vulnerable. That's because its habitat is shrinking dramatically. New roads, houses and hotels mean the monkeys have lost 3/4 of their habitat in this area in just 2 decades.
There is a lot of construction going on. Every 100 meters, there is a new building coming in. So that means you have to clear the forest and give room to this kind of construction.
The endless power lines along the Diani Beach Road are a deadly trap for monkeys. The lines cut right through their territory, and they are often not insulated.
So the monkeys, they don't know the dangers of these power lines. So they jump from a tree to power line. So sad. You find them electrocuted. Some, they even never survive.
Unlike other primates who sometimes steal food from humans, colobus monkeys feed solely on the leaves of certain trees. That often puts them in danger.
The trees you see around here, this is where they come and feed. This is among their favorite trees. So after feeding, they have to move from one side of the road to the other side of the road for other favorite tree.
The Conservation and Primate Rescue Center has been fighting to protect the monkeys of Diani Beach for nearly 30 years. Here, primates that were kept as pets are trained to survive in the wild again. Kalfani Mwitu hopes to have solved the power line problem using weatherproof materials from the hardware store, including plastic tubes that are normally used to connect water pipes. Instead, he built a ladder. No, a bridge, and not just one. 38 canopy bridges now span the Diani Beach Road, at the point where accidents occur most often. So, have the monkeys taken to their bridges? Yes. But even these skilled climbers need a little practice.
What we normally do, we do a survey on areas where we have so many cases of road traffic accidents. So this is among the points where we identified. So we decided to install this bridge so that it's a mitigation measure.
The bridges are effective, but only a makeshift remedy. The only lasting solution is to expand areas providing the monkeys' natural habitat. Mwitu's team run their own nursery, which aims to grow 40 species of indigenous trees. They encourage hotels, homeowners and schools to plant the native trees. as only they provide food and shelter for the colobus monkeys.
We go and plant them in schools, then we do monitoring. We make sure they grow, we do the follow-up. So if the residents want us to plant trees in their plot, we have to agree that they do take care of the trees.
The nutrient-rich bell bean tree is top of the menu.
This is Macamia zanzibarica, that's the botanical name. If you want colobus to come to your place, plant this tree. This is the favorite. This is the best tree for the colobus monkeys. They really love this tree.
The latest census in 2024 showed the number of colobus monkeys had risen to 553. Thanks to a dedicated team willing to build bridges that span not only a dangerous road, but also the divide between humans and nature.
We all want more color in our lives, and what better way than with a colorful wardrobe? Africa has a rich textile heritage and a bustling fashion scene, but colorful clothing can come at a high price in many ways. The dyes can often harm the environment and human health. We head to Mali now, where some people are doing their bit to prevent that.
These women are dyeing a fabric that's a staple in stylish wardrobes across West Africa. It's a damask fabric known locally as basin. It's famed for its glossy finish and distinctive rustle. Here in Mali, an entire industry is dedicated to giving basin its signature look. The base fabric, often imported from Germany or Austria, starts out white. It's then dyed, waxed, and beaten to achieve a vibrant, textured appearance. But the dyeing process is problematic. Most use chemicals that pollute the environment and endanger people's health. There were times where we had nowhere to empty the water, and some people said our wastewater was contaminating their well or tap water. Aminata and her team set out to address the problem. To collect the wastewater, she had a concrete tank built underneath the dye works. The tank is divided into different chambers, built to the same standard used in industrial factories. It cost the company around 7,500 euros. Now the wastewater no longer flows into the gutters or public sewers. Every 3 months, the sanitation department comes to collect the wastewater by truck. The service costs a further 90 euros each time, but Aminata Coulibaly says the investment is worth it. We have a responsibility to keep the workplace clean, to protect our employees, and to be an agent of change in the community. Meanwhile, some other street dyers still dispose of wastewater directly into the canal leading to the Niger River. The fashion industry is one of the world's biggest polluters, responsible for high carbon emissions, excessive water use, and water pollution. The dyers in Mali are just one link in the supply chain, but change is possible across that supply chain and essential. We've even taken training courses on this. We don't want to experience the same problems that our mothers faced in this profession.
Almost everywhere in the world, they are seeing more and more extreme weather and flooding because we have changed the climate through our overuse of fossil fuels. Now, this is strongly felt in cities where even with working drains, there is so much asphalt and concrete that the extra water can be absorbed. We met some activists in Switzerland with a radical way to turn grey areas into green.
Heavy rains and flooding, water surging through villages and communities. Weather extremes are becoming increasingly common in Europe. Climate change contributes, but also humans paving and sealing ground with asphalt.
We're the asphalt crackers, drawing attention to climate change and biodiversity by breaking open sealed surfaces, planting native plants, and reporting on what we do. The best way to combat climate change, heat, drought, and heavy rainfall, is to have more nature, more soil, and less asphalt and concrete.
We're in Zurich, Switzerland. It gets terribly loud when former journalist Bettina Valk goes to work. She now has lots of experience using jackhammers. Bettina Valk used to have her own biodiversity show on Swiss television. Now, she and her colleague Isabella CDV focus on advising both homeowners and housing cooperatives. Their goal is to break up concrete surfaces in residential areas, which cause problems in both dry and wet weather.
We want to show that without soil, we are nothing. 1/3 of the world's soil is degraded, so nothing grows on it, no food, and water can't seep into it. We have to take better care of our soil, and we'd be delighted if we could influence people a little.
When they're not tearing up paved surfaces, the two take their activism online. Isabella CDV, a trained biologist, provides scientific insights on her website, where she explains that, in Switzerland alone, parking lots equivalent in size to 900 soccer fields could be converted into green spaces. This Winterthur project is a strong example. Instead of concrete slabs that trap heat and block rainwater, gravel and greenery will help cool the area. These homeowners are part of a pilot project called Schwammstadt, or Sponge City, where outdoor spaces are designed to absorb rain and ease pressure on the sewage system during heavy storms. In return, the city covers the cost of removing old rubble. The asphalt crackers say that every new project counts. Like in Zovingen, northern Switzerland.
It started suddenly. On Saturday afternoon, it started to rain, harder and harder. It didn't stop. Then a lot of water flowed down here and flooded the streets. Some of it gushed towards the train station and flooded numerous basements in the old town.
Since the 2017 flood, Zovingen City Council has been replacing sealed asphalt with vegetation to ease pressure on the sewage system during heavy rainfall.
It's crucial to unseal as much surface area as possible. We've sealed over too much land. This prevents water from soaking into the ground and forces it to run off elsewhere, often causing problems. Here we've ensured that as much water as possible can be absorbed naturally.
The asphalt crackers are pleased with the Zovingen project. And here in Winterthur, they're happy with this new gravel garden, designed to store water when it rains and keep things cool when it's hot.
When you're surrounded by asphalt, concrete, glass, and these run-of-the-mill buildings that are becoming more and more alike, then of course people will want to create a more natural, more livable niche here and there.
At this Winterthur property, the asphalt and concrete are finally gone. Time for a group photo for the website in hopes that it will inspire many more people in Switzerland.
Being fully aware of your surroundings is the gift that keeps on giving. Across many rural communities in the Sahel, women are reconnecting with wild indigenous plants that once formed a vital part of their ancestors' diets. As weather patterns shift, these long-overlooked plants are proving to be valuable allies, offering a range of benefits in the face of climate change.
The women are skilled at plucking the leaves off the twisting branches of jigger trees. In the village of Danbuda, they're in demand. The women can harvest the leaves all year round, using them to cook or to sell at the market in the nearby town of Zinder.
Before, we used to go into the bush to cut wood that we could sell to buy food. Then one day, I went to Zinder for a funeral, and my relatives took me to Sahel Foods in their neighborhood and told me that they buy Adua fruits, desert dates. So I started selling these to them. People at home laughed at me. Why would anyone buy Adua fruits? But then, 2 others joined me. Now, 40 women do it too.
The ideas to harvest and market native wild plants came from Joseph Garvey. He grew up in Niger and had long been thinking about the benefits of reviving native dryland trees such as the wild Hansa species.
They used to have Hansa, they used to eat Hansa, but only in times of hardship. So when we started working with them, we started buying their Hansa. At first they were reluctant, they didn't think we were serious, but they realized that we were actually serious, we were actually buying it, and they got involved in harvesting a lot of Hansa and delivering to us. And they became very happy from the extra income they could make. But we weren't quite satisfied because they were harvesting in order to sell us, but they were still considering it something that they'd rather not eat themselves.
Now they've started to change their minds. As a social enterprise, Sahara Sahel Foods raises awareness in local communities about native trees that can provide nutritious leaves, fruits, and seeds, and they've learned to appreciate them. Sahara Sahel Foods has been active in the Zinder region since 2014 and these days works with 1,500 small farmers and 80 villages. They supply various fruits and leaves from over 20 local plant species, which are then used to produce oil, jam, spices, and pastry. 60 products are now sold around Niger, and some of them are also exported.
Up until today, many people thought that these bush foods are just local stuff and don't have any particular value. They forgot about them because they just grow wild in the bush. But now people have begun to understand that our products are useful.
Sahara Sahel Foods cookery courses are popular. Today, instructor Hawa Habu is showing the women what they can do with Hansa fruit. It has a high protein content.
We have taught them a lot of things, such as how to cook Hansa with sauce made from horn-fruited jute, which they didn't know, Hansa porridge, which they didn't know either, and jujube pop biscuits. Basically, we taught them a lot of recipes.
Joseph Garvey learned a lot from his Norwegian father. Arne Garvey was a young man when he emigrated to Niger with his wife. He began collecting seeds from indigenous plants and resowing them using a direct seeding method. Sahara Sahel Foods successfully replanted 160 local varieties in this way. The farmers followed suit. Many of the trees were planted by the farmers themselves.
The whole idea of direct seeding is that you can teach it to the farmers and the farmers can teach each other. And then once you get the what we call the WPC economy established, it will have its own momentum. And I would like to inspire people not only here, but all over the world to use their indigenous perennials.
After 10 years in the Zinder region, Garvey's project is flourishing. Many smallholder farming families are now experts on various local tree varieties and how to care for them, and are passing their insights on to their children.
You know, a child will watch you from a very young age. My daughter understands that it's with the income from these efforts that will buy them certain items. So she follows in our footsteps, and that's why from time to time she sows trees too.
Jamila Yusuf has a regular income and can feed her family well. She's even been able to build her own house. The small seeds have borne fruit.
We're off to Burundi now. This small, landlocked country is densely populated and one of the poorest in the world. Not only do the people suffer from food insecurity, the region is vulnerable to climate shocks. To help strengthen the country, the government introduced compulsory community work more than 20 years ago. It includes many practices that protect the environment and benefit everyone. We want to see if this collective action can really help build a more resilient society.
In Burundi, Saturdays are different. While in many places it's the start of the weekend, here millions of people gather in cities and rural areas to work together. This community labor has been mandatory for almost 20 years and is changing the country. The advantage of community work is that you have a lot of people doing something at the same time, which means it gets finished quickly. Another plus point is that we teach people what to do and can demonstrate it to everyone right away, so it's easier for them to understand. Today, in the hills of Nyarushanga in western Burundi, the workers are repairing what's known as contour trenches. This involves deepening trenches that have been dug along the natural contours of the land to stop rainwater running straight down the hill. The planted embankments above the trenches help slow the water, which prevents soil erosion and stores moisture. This simple technique safeguards the steep hill and makes the land more fertile. In the past, the community work focused on cleaning up public areas. Now it's more about ecology. This community work is very important for the people. Even before the workers from the cooperative that's helping us today came along, we were raising awareness among residents about the need to protect the environment, especially by planting trees on bare hills. And that has already borne fruit. The community effort has also borne fruit for farmer Jean-Marie Korubusa, some 50 kilometers farther west. He spent years battling soil erosion on the hills here in Vyuya village. Often, it was in vain. When he learned to dig contour trenches and plant them, it changed everything. Where we dig the contour trenches, we also sow grasses for animal fodder, as it prevents the rainwater from eroding the soil. During the dry season, this grass is then a valuable source of food for our livestock. But the greatest success is in his fields. Before we learned how to build contour trenches, the rain washed away most of our crops because we farm on steep slopes. Not anymore. Where I used to harvest 1 ton of potatoes, now I get 3.5 to 4 tons. Back to Nyarushanga. These potatoes belong to a cooperative, one of hundreds across the country known as Sangwe or Together. They don't just work together, they also plan the next harvest together. Farmers select the best potatoes from those that are already sprouting to sow them back into the ground as seed, a circular system. This same principle of solidarity applies in urban areas too. This Saturday, these workers, Burundi's largest city, Bujumbura, are building a new basketball court. Everyone comes together, everyone contributes to improving the place. I have no doubts about the future if we maintain this momentum. But you do need to provide clear goals and guidance for this community work. Otherwise, it can be ineffective. The bamboo on the banks of the city's rivers was planted by community work. The roots hold the soil together, preventing erosion and helping to prevent flooding in Bujumbura, a green barrier to mitigate the impact of a changing climate. Back in Nyarushanga, 2 hours to the east, workers are now harvesting beans, all on the same Saturday. The work is not voluntary, and not everyone is happy with that. We can easily find out who is not participating in the community work by consulting the leaders of the local groups. Every person who has worked is logged in an attendance book. Those who didn't participate first get a warning. If that doesn't work, we take appropriate measures, including sanctions. Farmer Mbonimpa Conceal says she enjoys the work. What may look to some like tedious labor is, for many here, about coming together. After decades of ethnic violence that traumatized both Burundi and neighboring Rwanda. Sometimes the work isn't easy, but understanding the purpose behind it gives you strength, for yourself and for the country. Even those who aren't sure about it realize that if they don't take part, they'll be left behind. Working together is a blessing. In Burundi, Saturdays are different. While elsewhere everyone does what they like, people here come together to work for a shared, sustainable future.
Nature has all the solutions we need if we work with it, not against it. We really hope you've been inspired by today's show. Thanks for watching. I'm Malama Mukonde in Lusaka, Zambia, saying bye-bye for now.
Don't forget to check out our social media channels. And you can also write to us at eco@dw.com. I'm Chris Alems in Lagos, Nigeria. See you next week.